There's a crack in a mountain range 33 miles long, which is barely wide enough for two trucks in places. And for 2500 years, every single person who wanted to conquer India had to squeeze through it. Think about Persians, Greeks, Mongols, Mughals, British, all the same, 33 miles. To understand why, you have to see the trap. The Indian subcontinent is a fortress and it's built by geology. There's K2 and the Himalayas, which seal the north. The jungles of Burma block the east. The deserts of Iran wall off the west. So if you're sitting in Central Asia with an army and a dream of India's riches, there's essentially one door. It's called the Khyber Pass. It's a gorge carved between cliffs of shale and limestone, and 600 to 1,000 feet high on either side. And at its narrowest, 15 meters wide, not even a football field. If you look at the guest list, it reads like all the cool kids of history are there. 5th century, Darius the first of Persia conquers Kabul and marches through the pass to reach the Indus River. 2 centuries later, generals of Alexander the Great use the same route to push into India. And then something beautiful happens. Buddhism flows the other way. Under Ashoka's Mauryan Empire, the pass becomes a corridor of monasteries, not armies. Stupas are built along the gorge, and for a few centuries, the Khyber carries ideas instead of invasions. It doesn't last though. Mahmud of Ghazna launches the first of 17 invasions of India through the pass in 1000 AD. In 1191, Muhammad of Ghor comes through. 1221, Genghis Khan himself chases the last ruler of Khwarizm dynasty through the Khyber and destroys him at the Battle of the Indus. In 1526, Babur, then just the ruler of Kabul, he marches through and defeats the last Sultan of Delhi at Panipat, and he founds the Mughal Empire. And then Nader Shah of Persia, then Ahmad Shah Durrani, then the Sikhs under Ranjit Singh. There were different centuries, these are different religions, these are different languages. It's the same Khyber Pass, the same 33 miles. But the pass was not free, it had landlords. And they've been here longer than any empire that I talked about. The Pashtun clans, particularly the Afridis and the Shinwaris, have considered the Khyber Pass theirs for centuries. And they've charged a toll on every traveler, every caravan, every army that has wanted safe passage through. Now, this wasn't a side hustle for them, it was their primary source of income, and they defended it fiercely. Every empire learned this the hard way. The Mughals, they sent punitive expeditions against the Afridis going back to the 1500s. Didn't work. The British tried again in 1839. In January 1842, of roughly 16,000 British aligned soldiers and civilians retreating from Kabul through the pass, only one survived. One. In 1897, the Afridis seized the entire pass and held it for months before the British could take it back. And eventually, the British figured out what the Mughals, the Persians, and every other empire figured out before them. You don't conquer the Afridis, you just pay them. So, after the Second Anglo Afghan War, the British implemented a formal policy. You pay the local tribes to keep the pass secure. The world's mightiest empire, writing checks to mountain clans for permission to use a road. Now, this is not ancient history, right? After World War I, the British built a railway through the pass. It had 34 tunnels, around 90 bridges, and it opened in 1925. During World War II, they poured concrete tank obstacles into the valley floor because they genuinely feared a German armored invasions of India through the Khyber. And in the 60s and the 70s, thousands of Western and Japanese travelers drove through it on the hippie trail, advised not to wander from the road because this was still barely controlled tribal territory. And then 2001, the war in Afghanistan begins, and the Khyber Pass becomes the most strategically important road on earth once again. Almost 80% of all NATO and US road supplies into Afghanistan were transported through the same 33 mile that Darius walked in 500 BC. And what were the security arrangements? Until 2007, the Pakistani government paid the Afridi tribe to keep the route safe. The exact same deal the British made. So it's a century later, it's the same tribe, it's the same pass, and it's the same price for doing business. Darius walked it, Alexander walked it, Genghis Khan walked it, Babur carried an empire through it, the British built a railway through it, NATO drove supply trucks through it, and through all of it, every century, every empire, every army, the Afridis were still there, still watching from the cliffs, and they're still charging tolls. The The Khyber Pass doesn't belong to history. History just keeps passing through.